Welcome to this deep dive. We're setting sail today with Homer's The Odyssey.
A classic.
And you might already know about Odysseus' journey home, the Trojan horse, the Cyclops, the siren.
Right, right. Some of the greatest hits.
But trust me, there's so much more to uncover.
Yeah.
Beyond those, famous exploits.
Oh, absolutely. The Odyssey is not just a thrilling adventure story, which it is, but it also grapples with these really complex themes about heroism, morality, and what it truly means to come home.
And speaking of complexity, let's talk about Odysseus himself. I mean, he is hailed as this legendary hero. But when you really dig into the text, there's a certain slipperiness to him.
You're right, you're right. In one line, Homer even describes Odysseus as the man of twists and turns. And this isn't just about his physical journey. Odysseus is he's a master of deception, a weaver of these elaborate lies.
That's a good way to put it.
Remember how he tricks the Cyclops, Polyphemus?
Oh, absolutely. Telling his giant that his name is Nobody. So when Polyphemus cries out for help, he's yelling, "Nobody's killing me." Pure genius.
Clever, yes. But it also kind of shows a character who thrives on deception.
Right, right.
And this is where I think the Odyssey challenges our traditional ideas of heroism. Because Odysseus isn't afraid to blur the lines, right? To use trickery, cunning, to ensure his survival and the safety of his men.
So it makes you wonder, is he a hero or something a little more morally ambiguous?
That's the beauty of it, right? That's the beauty of Homer's characterization. Odysseus embodies the complexities of those ancient Greek heroes, where bravery and guile weren't opposed to each other.
Yeah.
He reminds us that real life and real people rarely fit into these neat categories of good and evil.
Like he's reminding us to look beyond the surface. Even when it comes to our heroes, nobody's perfect.
Exactly. And I think this nuanced portrayal of Odysseus makes him a much more compelling and relatable figure, don't you think? I mean, we've all had to navigate difficult situations, make these tough choices, and the Odyssey, it kind of forces us to confront the gray areas of human nature.
Yeah.
In ourselves and also in others.
And, speaking of navigating those difficult situations, I was really struck by the women in the Odyssey. I mean, they're living in this patriarchal society, often kind of sidelined in their own stories,
right?
Yet they still find these ways to exercise their agency.
Oh, absolutely. And it really makes you realize that power doesn't always look like, what we think it should look like. It doesn't manifest in these obvious ways.
Right.
Take Penelope, for example. I mean, talk about holding down the fort, right?
Yeah.
She's in Ithaca, fending off these persistent suitors, all while grieving her absent husband and raising their son.
And let's not forget, I mean, her strategy to delay those suitors is amazing. This whole thing with weaving the burial shroud for Odysseus' father.
Oh, brilliant.
And undoing her work every night.
Yes.
Claiming she'll choose a new husband once it's done.
Exactly. For years, she keeps them at bay with her cunning and her craftsmanship. That image of her weaving and unweaving, it's so symbolic, isn't it?
It really is. It's like she's manipulating time itself, holding on to hope, refusing to be controlled by circumstance.
Exactly. And it speaks to, I think, this long history of women finding ways to kind of, wield their own power, even within systems that are designed to really limit them.
Yeah.
It's a reminder to look for those hidden stories, those acts of, resilience and resistance that might not always make it into the history books.
It makes you wonder what other stories we might be overlooking, even today, when we're so focused on just the dominant narratives.
Right. Right. It's a really important question, I think. And, speaking of powerful women, we can't forget about Athena, the goddess of wisdom and warfare.
Oh, absolutely. She's like Odysseus's personal guardian angel.
Right.
Constantly intervening on his behalf, whispering guidance, even manipulating events to keep him on track.
Yes. And it's so interesting because she's equally invested, I think, in Telemachus' journey, right? Guiding him to manhood, encouraging him to claim his own strengths.
So she's not just guiding heroes, she's shaping destinies here, playing this much more active role than we might initially realize.
Exactly. And, it challenges us to kind of think differently about the forces at play, right? Both human and divine that shape the course of events in the Odyssey and maybe even in our own life.
Now, amidst all the adventure and intrigue, there's this underlying current of longing, I think, that runs through the entire poem. Odysseus' just unwavering desire to return home. It made me think about the concept of nostos that you mentioned earlier.
Yes, nostos is such a powerful word. It's more than just a physical homecoming, right?
Right.
It it encompasses this deep, deep yearning for a place of belonging, this sense of rootedness, a return to oneself after a long journey.
And for Odysseus, that longing, that nostos, it's so powerful.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah, he's constantly tested, like tempted to just give up, to embrace this life of ease and comfort, but somewhere else.
Right, right.
But he never does.
He never does, even when he's, being held captive by Calypso, this nymph.
Right.
And she's offering him immortality.
Right. If he stays with her.
If he stays,
Yeah.
he still yearns for Ithaca, for Penelope, for his mortal life.
It says something right about the depth of that longing. It's not just about like the physical place.
Right.
It's about everything that Ithaca represents to him. Family and identity and this sense of belonging, this reckoning with his past.
Yeah. It's like his journey home. It's also this journey inward.
Absolutely.
This process of rediscovering himself.
Yes.
And his place in the world.
And I think that's something that resonates so deeply, even today. Like we all experience that yearning for connection, for a place where we truly belong.
Absolutely. Whether it's, a physical place or a community, or even just a sense of inner peace. I mean, that longing for nostos is like, it's a universal human experience.
It really is. And what I think is so interesting is that the poem doesn't end with Odysseus just like arriving back in Ithaca and everything magically falling into place.
It's not happily ever after right away.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
He returns and the palace is overrun with these suitors, all vying for his wife's hand. His son Telemachus caught in the middle. The kingdom's kind of in disarray.
Total chaos.
Yeah. So it's not, his homecoming isn't this simple resolution.
Right.
It's the beginning of a whole new set of challenges.
He's got to fight to reclaim his place, rebuild those relationships, restore order to the kingdom.
Yes. And it's a good reminder, I think, that nostos, that word, it's not really a destination.
Right.
It's an ongoing process.
It's a journey.
Right. It's about confronting the past, navigating the present, and sort of shaping the future.
So even after that journey home, the journey continues.
Exactly. Exactly. And I think that's a really powerful message for us, today. Like, life is full of these twists and turns and these unexpected challenges and just these constant opportunities for growth. And homecoming, in its truest sense, it's really about embracing that ongoing journey.
I love that. This deep dive has been incredible. I feel like I've gained this whole new understanding of the Odyssey, of its characters and its themes.
Me too. It's amazing how a story written thousands of years ago can still resonate so deeply,
It really is. And for those listening, as you reflect on Odysseus's epic journey, just consider this. What does nostos mean to you? And what challenges might you face on your own path to homecoming?
Those are great questions worth pondering. And remember, like Odysseus, we all have this strength and this resilience to navigate those challenges and to find our way home, whatever that looks like for us.